Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, get ready, Bitcoin holders. Several big pieces of news announced today. So, I'm going to talk about Lightning Network, Strike app, new country Argentina, and also talk about what's coming tomorrow. Big release tomorrow. What is it and how will it affect Bitcoin? Well, let's discuss. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Several big pieces of news. Well, actually just one, but several big things I want to talk about. So let's get started. First of all, Bitcoin is at 42.5. So since this morning, it climbed up a little bit. It touched 43,000 once again. So you could see that's like the new temporary ceiling. We have 43,000 3 times today, and Bitcoin wants to break higher. It's itching to break higher, and we may get it tomorrow because it's one big event. But first of all, let's talk about this. Where's this? This. Yes, here we go. So, pretty big announcement, and President Bukele of El Salvador predicted that 2 other countries, at least, will jump into Bitcoin and make Bitcoin legal tender. And this may be the first one, although it looks like 2 others are following the same footsteps. So Strike is launching Bitcoin payment service in Argentina, obviously using their app, and they will be using Lightning Network, of course. So this will be a huge thing for citizens of Argentina because we know that they suffer right now from hyperinflation. Doesn't matter how many zeros Argentina chops off, they still have the same problem. And it hasn't been easy for them to find something else that could be a store of value, that could be a hedge against their inflation. Well, here comes Bitcoin, okay, and Jack Mallers. So this is coming. Argentina didn't officially announce anything like they're going to make Bitcoin legal tender, but the way this is launching, it does seem like that wouldn't be far-fetched, and that could be right around the corner. So this is pretty big, having another country almost fully embracing Bitcoin, right? Of course, Argentina is a much bigger country than El Salvador, about 45 million citizens, and they're not alone because it looks like Brazil and Colombia are next. At least that's where Strike plans on expanding into, and it just makes sense. So Latin America, a lot of financial instability, economic woes, and Strike and Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin, is going to make a big impact on the citizens within the area, within the countries, right? So I think this is pretty significant. It's the start. I told you guys El Salvador was going to be the first. They're the benchmark. They're the test bed, and everyone else is paying attention and figuring out how they could integrate Bitcoin into their system, and it's starting. It is starting. Now, speaking of Lightning Network, right? They're not alone because Jack Dorsey and Cash App, right? They are integrating Lightning payments. So they want to make it as easy and as cheap as possible to send Bitcoin from one app to another anywhere in the world, basically. So this is also a big thing for Lightning Network. And if you look at a chart for Lightning Network, it is just increased by leaps and bounds. It's not in this one, unfortunately, but it is just skyrocketing in terms of the number of nodes and liquidity. And this is positive for Bitcoin, as many, including Jack, feel like it will become the new currency of the internet. And in order to become that, Bitcoin needs to scale and needs to be very fast and very cheap. You can't have people waiting 10 minutes for confirmation, and that is what the Lightning Network is here to do. So also big news for Lightning Network. And that's not all. Jack Dorsey also, he renamed Square into Block, and they are doing two other things based on their hiring. Number one, they're hiring someone to develop a new ASIC miner for Bitcoin. And it could be because he wants to integrate it into maybe, the terminals, block terminals. Maybe he wants to integrate it, low power ones. It does seem like he's very serious about it, hiring for that. And also he wants to build a wallet. And we kind of knew that already, but he's also hiring. So Jack has big plans for Bitcoin. This is probably the reason why he stepped down at Twitter, because he wants to focus everything on Bitcoin and how to utilize Block now to fully embrace it and grow it even more. So this is also pretty big in terms of utility adoption, right? It's only getting started. This is why I tell you guys to focus on Bitcoin and the growing fundamentals. This is part of that, right? This is still so early. That's why you don't want to give up on Bitcoin. Now, the other big thing that I want to talk about, of course, is tomorrow. Okay? Big news, or not big news, but big, I guess, speculation on what may happen tomorrow. Okay? CPI numbers are coming out. Inflation numbers are coming out. And I mentioned this already. Traders, hedge funds, whoever, Wall Street guys, they're all trying to figure out what to do about inflation. And the answer is quite obvious, except people are still pretending like Bitcoin doesn't exist. Okay? So there's only really three things that you can do about inflation, right? And only really one of the two things or three things makes sense. So what can you do, right? What can you do if you want to hedge against inflation? It's expected that U.S. inflation rate is going to climb into the 7%, okay? So, and that's just measuring the growth between November to December and what it is overall, but that doesn't mean that it won't keep growing. So what can you do as an investor or as an average Joe? If you have a ton of money on your hand, what can you do, right? Can you buy bonds? Can you buy 10-year bonds or 20-year bonds or 30-year bonds? Well, they're paying out 1.7, 1.8% yield after 10 years. Is that a good hedge against inflation? No. What else can you do? Well, you could buy gold. And surprisingly, gold kind of went up because people don't know what to put their money in, right? So they're buying gold, but we know that gold was destroyed by Bitcoin. In 2021, gold was in the negative, while Bitcoin returned 70%. So, how do you hedge against inflation if you can't rely on gold, which has been relied on for thousands of years, basically? Not for financial markets, but for jewelry and stuff. But from a financial standpoint, maybe 100 years, 200 years. No, not even that long, but you get my point, right? But now you can't rely on it anymore. So what else is there? Well, the answer is simple: Bitcoin, right? So tomorrow could be a big day for Bitcoin. If the inflation numbers turn out to be worse than expected, you're going to have an overreaction again by the traders and hedge funds into buying hedges against inflation. And I just don't know what else there is. The buying power of money, of cash, is decreasing at an exponential rate based on how much has been printed over the last few years. There's nothing you could do about that. So now you need to buy something that goes up even faster than inflation. Otherwise, you're just losing, right? You may think you're sitting on a pile of cash and it's doing great, except every single year now it's disappearing by 7%. and it's growing, right? So you have to decide. So I think tomorrow could be a good day for Bitcoin because the inflation numbers turn out to be even worse than expected. Well, I think you got a reaction, an overreaction of maybe gold spiking, Bitcoin spiking, right? And even if you don't see inflation numbers being worse, I think overall traders know that this is still the beginning. If you look at the inflation rate, the CPI numbers have been steadily going up and up and up and up and up, right? So what's coming out tomorrow is for December, not counting January, right? And then next month, we'll look at January numbers and it's probably going to be even worse. And we might go into the 8%. So we'll see. So that's coming tomorrow, right? And of course, people are wondering, there's going to be another Fed meeting. I don't think it's going to be over tomorrow. I think it's going to carry into Thursday. So again, people are speculating on what Chairman Powell is going to do. He's already said what he plans on doing in December, but is he actually going to do it soon, right? And there's that to look forward to. So overall, a lot of stuff coming. All right. Now, in addition to all this, in addition to Bitcoin's fundamentals getting better and how it's the greatest inflation hedge that we have today, there are still other bullish things about Bitcoin. For example, a liquid supply. And you can see that is still going up. It's at the same level now. Okay, even though Bitcoin is at, 42,000 right now, it's at the same level as when Bitcoin hit 64,000 back in 2021. So you could see a lot of the supply is being taken off from the exchanges. And there's reason for that. Because the big whales, they keep accumulating. They keep buying behind the scenes while retail is panicking. And they're laughing all the way to their virtual bank because they are buying Bitcoin at a discount for cheap. And they know this is really, really cheap compared to where Bitcoin will be in 5 years, which may be at $1 million then, right? So a liquid supply keeps going up. And no, that's pretty much it. Okay. Now, before I get into other stuff, altcoins, I did want to talk about Fantom real quick. A lot of you guys are Fantom fans, and I am too. Binance.us decided to list Fantom today. So Binance.us, one of the bigger exchanges in the US, listing Fantom. So pretty positive. Also, a couple things about Fantom. Major projects on CryptosRUs.com within this article listed. Right, some of you guys may have heard of like Tomb Finance, Spooky Finance. You may want to learn more about it. It is on CryptosRUs.com. And just so you know, I want a Spooky swap. Looking at the farms that's available, right? Like Fantom versus USDC pair, 90% APR. And some of these other ones are 40, 50, 60, 70%. Man, bargain. Not bargain, but I love DeFi yield, so I'm starting to love it more and more and more. All right, that's pretty much it. Overall, today we're still feeling good. Ever since this morning, Bitcoin has come up. A lot of altcoins have started coming up, right? I don't know why I have it off, but let's go to CoinGecko. Recently, I've noticed that CoinMarketCap has really been like, I think there's too much usage, so now they cache it, so it refreshes every 10 or 20 seconds. It just kind of sucks. But overall today, you guys could see market cap is up 2.8%. Not too shabby. A lot of altcoins have recovered today slightly, but there are still a lot of bargains to be had. But the point of me bringing up more DeFi is because I think it's perfect. While things are stagnant or while you're holding and you want to make more income, passive income, look into DeFi. This is the reason why L1s are so strong, is because of DeFi. And that is why L1s are here to stay. And that's why so many continue to lock in their tokens. And you can see in terms of total value locked, it hardly moved off from its top, right? Because so many people are making great yields and they continue to leave their tokens in there and not panic selling, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Lastly, there's two other things. For Vechain, VeUSD, the stable coin, has launched. Okay, so Vechain partnered up with this other company called Stability, and they have launched VeUSD, which is backed 1-to-1 to USD. So they're not an algorithmic stablecoin. This is actually asset-backed stablecoin. But this will jumpstart Vechain in a big way for their DeFi ecosystem, which is just getting started. But I have a feeling after this, there's going to be a big push. Several other L1s have these mega funds, like 100 million, 300 million funds to draw in dApp makers. I have a feeling Vechain is working on that. And if we see one get announced, maybe 100 million, 200 million into drawing dApp makers, especially DeFi stuff, it's gonna be very positive for you, Vechain. All right, that's pretty much it. The only other thing I want to talk about before again Q&A is I do have a new channel partner. You guys may have noticed it on the screen, and that is ftx.us. FTX, you can't watch TV without seeing one of their commercials. Or you can't check out a publication without seeing some kind of big headline that they have formed. Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX have pushed FTX to the limits, and they are now one of the biggest exchanges out there, right? So FTX has many advantages. They have a ton of tokens, a ton of coins, I should say. The trading fees and withdrawal fees are the lowest in the industry. And not only can you use them on your computer, but they also bought out Blockfolio, which some of you guys may remember. It is now called FTX app. Okay, so Blockfolio is not only a portfolio tracker, but also you could trade within. You could trade anything that's within FTX. You could utilize that. Okay, but just to show you, this is what the interface looks like. And on top, there's many different crypto, and they utilize USD, Bitcoin, and the stablecoin USDT. And not only that, not only can you use FTX.us for trading, but also NFTs. They are pushing big into NFTs, trying to steal the thunder from OpenSea and even Solana from SolArt. So you can actually mint NFTs for either chain, completely free, no fees at all. You can launch it on Solana, or you can launch it for Ethereum, and you could also deposit from either chain, right? So they are also making a big push into NFTs as well. And it's just a lot easier for people to create because you don't have to worry about $100 of gas fee for every single one that you create. And even when you sell it, to get that into your wallet, you have to pay another $100. So you're saving a ton of fees just by utilizing FTX.US's NFT marketplace. So there you go. So if you want to check them out, URL's placed in the description, but I will be talking a lot more about FTX.US in the future. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Now let's do some Q&A. Francisco asks, can you do a quick ICP overview? It's been a while since I looked at ICP. I'm neutral on them, okay? I'm neutral on them. I didn't like how they were overhyped, and they pumped up to the moon, and now they're nowhere close to their all-time high. There are some things I've learned about them before that I didn't like. They're not really open-sourced. Their staking mechanism rewards time. So, of course, the team who started staking has more control over the new stakers. It seems like they use a digital ID system. So they see it better for KYC, but if you want to be more hidden, anonymous, it's counterintuitive for that. So there are a few things about ICP that's a little bit different. But can they come back? maybe, but they got pumped up so much when they first released. Now they're nowhere close to it. I think they're still like 90% off. That's how far off they are. All right. DIY Kenny DeFi Kingdoms. I've been meaning to do an update video on DeFi Kingdoms. In fact, I want to do one just on staking overall. Many people have asked me how I'm staking on Anchor, utilizing UST, right? And also how to get into DeFi Kingdoms. And I've started experimenting with some other DeFi projects. And you know what? DeFi is just, it's as easy as cake, really. But of course, the more APR or more APY, the more risky it is. And you could get rug pulled and stuff like that. So you have to be careful. But there are certain ones, especially if you're staking into projects and you're earning yield from that. I mean, there's basically no risk, especially if you're contributing to a network of a project that you believe in. So, yeah, I'm still making about $900 a day from DeFi Kingdoms. But in total now, because I sprout money in all these like different projects, and in terms of just staking, I've been calculating. So I'm getting over $2,000 per day from rewards now. I mean, that is tremendous. We're talking about $60,000 a month at this pace. So it shows you that staking rewards yields is legit, but you have to be careful. You have to be smart about it. But right now, I think it's still something that's kind of taboo for a lot of people, just like me. It's like, it's not for me. It's too risky. And I think it's just because most people don't understand. Is today Wednesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday. I will be bringing out my portfolio to DCA. Let's see here. Could data price action? Any idea when KDEX would be launching? No. You should tweet to KDEX and ask them that question, because I have not heard. They said soon. They launched their beta of their browser wallet, but in terms of their DEX, I don't have an ETA yet. But I think that's going to help them. Let's see. ADA haters are trendy. I don't know. With Cardano, you have a lot of hate and got a lot of love. And there's no in between. I don't know what the deal is with that. NFTs on Cardano are much easier, except they're not utilizing Cardano smart contracts. So that's the problem. All right, I finally caught up to the comments. Let's see here. Do you think data could do 8x from here, from this bull run? I think it's back up to about $9. So 8x from here. Yeah, 9. So yes, I do. Can they go up even 10x? They're 1.5 billion market cap. 10x would give them 15 billion, right? And 15 billion is not too far off from, let's say, Polygon right now is 16. Can they do it? Sure. But it's going to take a lot of development first. Okay, they're going to have to onboard a lot more DEXs. A lot more. They're going to need to have more staking and a lot more projects that involve staking. So yes, it could happen, but they need to build out. And that's what they're doing. That's the whole point of getting in early, so that, so when these things come, because it happened with so many projects, for example, like Avalanche and Polygon. I mean, these guys shot up in 2021 because they kind of like all came at once. So it definitely could happen. Same thing with Solana. Happened very fast for Solana too. Augustin, this year Argentina will suffer a drought. It's likely it will default IMF, and Argentina central bank is completely broken. Let's hope BTC saves me from starving. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you are in Argentina. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I haven't lived in conditions like that, so I can't comment how bad it is. But I'm hoping that Strike App and Bitcoin can make a big difference for the citizens of Argentina. I think it's made a big difference for citizens of El Salvador, and I hope that it will help relieve some of this badness from your life. Can you ballpark how much in total you're staking? It's not that much. Like, for example, with DeFi Kingdoms, I put in 80,000 and I'm getting about 900. Some of these others, I put in smaller amounts, but I'm not going to name names right now because I don't want to just, it would be reckless to do that. But some of these other ones, I put like 50,000, 10,000. And some of the other ones like Anchor, you guys saw, I put in like 150,000. And I have like a ton on the centralized lending services, but they're earning very low yields. So most of it is from like liquidity pools. But you know, the payback is, if you calculate the payback is really quick. If here's the thing about staking and liquidity pools and yields, they only work if the token that you're getting back is not dropping. If you get it and it drops, then it eliminates the yield, right? So that's why you have to invest in good projects. The ones where the yield will not be eliminated by price drop or volatility. So you got to be careful about that. That is something you have to be careful about. And a permanent loss, which people have mentioned to me before, basically with liquidity pools, you have two sides, and if one side deviates too much from the other side, you can end up actually losing when you're withdrawing. But then again, you make up for it from all the fees and yields that you made already, so you're just kind of making less, unless there's a huge deviance from what you put in before. So just to throw that out there. Already have both, even have more put in tonight. This is from David G. Vet with Vet News and Sand due to the 13th. Yes, they're having that mega city. Sandbox is having that mega city extension. Where's Sandbox here? Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, right? So they're partnered up with some big Hong Kong firms to try to get them more involved with metaverses. Or I mean, not to get them more involved. They want to get involved. So that's pretty big. You think resurgence of DeFi is coming? DeFi seems to have bottom, picking up momentum. Yeah, I think so. I still need to read more about Curve Wars. I hear a lot about it. I don't quite understand it yet. But DeFi is definitely here to stay. The problem with a lot of these DeFi projects is liquidity pools are majority for other projects or the token of the underlying chain or the coin out of the underlying chain, right? So all these DeFi projects on top of Ethereum, they're helping Ethereum more than they are helping themselves at this point. But yeah, they just need to figure out how to get people to hold their own token more. So, but yeah, I think their resurgence or they're gonna come back, but still maybe slower than some of the other projects. Mike says, I bought one on KuCoin and I went to withdraw. They've been converted to mainnet coin. How do I get out MetaMask? You could still you can send. I've tested it. You can send Harmony from KuCoin straight to MetaMask, right? But the thing is, it's a little bit difficult because if you get the Harmony address on MetaMask, it's still a ERC20 token address. So what you do is you go to Harmony's Block Explorer, enter that MetaMask address, and it'll give you the real Harmony address, which starts with 1. Okay? So it's a little bit complex, but if you do that, then you can send it to that Harmony address and it'll pop up in your MetaMask. So to test out, send a little bit. Don't send the whole thing and see how that works. But for me, it worked. And for KuCoin, their withdrawal, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So keep that in mind. My first withdrawal took like 2 hours before Harmony got there. I don't know if it's just congestion at the time. So hopefully that helped you. James, thank you for that big super sticker. Getting an error message moving Harmony from crypto.com to MetaMask, any alternative? Here's the thing. That's what I just said, Chad. So the MetaMask address for Harmony is a ERC address. So you need to actually copy that, go into Harmony's Block Explorer and enter that address and search, and it'll give you the equivalent Harmony address. Okay? And then you can utilize that address to send to, and it'll appear in your Harmony wallet in MetaMask. So it's a little complex. It took me a while to figure out. But try with just a small amount first, and then if it works, then you can send the remaining. All right. You think Oculus would be big in a metaverse world? I don't know. Oculus has been around for a while. Obviously, Facebook wants to take advantage of Oculus since they bought them. I should say Meta. I'm not used to calling them Meta, but yeah, I think they could. I think they could. James, thank you. What does a wrap coin mean? Basically, you're having one coin from another network onto another chain. So like wrap Bitcoin on Ethereum, right? So basically you're locking in Bitcoin on one side, and then you're getting equivalency on the other side, and it's wrapped. And you can always change back. So that's what wrap means. Basically you're taking one coin from one chain and you're moving that liquidity to another chain. Starting a small farm in OR. Thoughts on supplementing a small farm by staking crypto to combat food inflation in my local community. OR, is that Oregon? Staking is definitely, it's a good idea, okay? And for me, what's almost a guaranteed with staking, and you don't have to worry about volatility, is stablecoins. Anchor. Okay, so I'm just going to give my own. This is one of the things I've discovered recently that I'm doing. So Anchor is a project created by Terra for the purpose of staking and borrowing. And you could also, you could do bonding and other things with the Anchor token. But they created this primarily as a draw for people to come in and utilize Terra USD and earn some rewards and kind of get people involved while they're growing the ecosystem, right? So, this is almost a sure thing unless the stablecoin itself collapses, which right now does not seem like it's likely because of how big Terra is, or Anchor collapses. Again, not likely because Anchor is controlled by Terra, which is now worth, $30 billion? So it's not likely either one of these will go away. There might be fluctuations in UST, but it's pegged to $1. So despite the market going up and down, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're putting in, you're pretty much earning this APY, right? And right now, I'm earning $84 from this. It's a large amount, I know, but it's consistent. Every single day, $84. And if you add up to a year, that's almost $31,000, right? That adds up. That adds up. So if, in your case, if you want to utilize staking to make rewards and utilize that to combat food inflation, for example, right? I would highly suggest using a system that takes advantage of stablecoins, not crypto themselves, because as I explained before, crypto can go up and down, and if the underlying token that you're staking goes down significantly, then the yield means nothing, right? So that's why stablecoin staking is in my opinion right now it's like a guaranteed money basically, and it's not just for UST. With USDC, with UST, with Binance BUSD, right? You can earn 10% with those. If you have them laying around, right? Or you have money in a bank account, why not? You can utilize them and earn much more rewards than you would ever get in a savings account or a checking account or bonds, right? So there you go. Check out CVR, 50% APR with no luck, no lock. There's a lot that has no lock, but I don't know if I. What's CVR? Cover compared. Yeah, way too small of a project for me to trust. 6 million. So sorry that I'm not gonna trust that. That's just a little bit too small. Can you tutorial how do you make 2K a day? No, 900 a day. Fluffy, yes. I'm actually having my team write actually not for Kikina. I'm doing it for Anchor first in case you guys want to know, because that's more of a less risky thing. DeFi Kingdom's a little bit more complex. There's a lot more steps, but eventually I will get to it. All right. John says, one influencer with 500,000 followers says Ada would tank in the next month. I don't know. I don't know about that. 70+% of Cardano is staked in a pool. And you know what? It just seems like it's unlikely unless they all give up and dump it, right? So it's hard to see that. Can it go down more? Sure. Will it be dumped back to like 10 cents, like where it was in 2018, 2019? I don't think so. Silver something, I appreciate that. Sorry, I meant CRV on convex. What is convex? I don't know which one you mean. Convex CRV or this one? Okay. 1.7 billion. So this is much bigger. I've never heard of this project before. Let's take a look. Boosted curve staking, deposit liquidity, earn boosted CRV. So this is like a compounding for curve, it sounds like. Put CRV to work. All right, deposit any number of curve into convex, receive basically a synthetic token, and then receive a total share of the curve rewards, and earn some trading fees. So what is the reward here? Yeah, 47.9% APR. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll try to play around with it, see how it is. But I mean, 47.9% is really good, but still not as crazy as some of the other ones, which means it's not as risky. So I'll give it a shot. I'll try it and see how it is. Barbecue, thanks for bringing it up. Someone asked about Rose. Well, Rose got a big investment from Binance today, and also they're hooked up with Facebook too. So I'm gonna do more research into them. They could be a big player going soon. What do you think about Mimblewimble on Litecoin? When is it gonna be done? And you know what? I think they're just better buys than Litecoin. Okay, there's better buys. Make a video on staking coins and list. Maybe. Best way to send USD to Terra Station. JS, a lot of people asked me about this earlier, right? Most likely you're trying to do it from KuCoin or Gate.io or something, right? With MetaMask, with the Harmony address, you have to put it into Harmony Block Explorer. Then it'll give you equivalent Harmony address, and you have to send it to that address. That's how it works, okay? So test it out first, but yeah, it took me a while to figure that out. Litecoin is trash. I won't disagree with you there. Argentina government won't adopt Bitcoin as legal tender because politicians like printing money. But here's the thing. I think you're right. But here's the thing. If Strike App is allowed to be used by the people, well, the people will figure out how to get around it, right? The thing is, if the government does not allow people to use the Strike App to buy Bitcoin, then that's a different story. So, Have you looked at BOM algo peg to Bitcoin? No, I have not. BOM. A little bit too small. All right, guys. That is pretty much it. Overall, some big stuff. This conversation went into DeFi, right? But DeFi is exciting. I'm really passionate about DeFi. This is why I tweeted out. Once you start getting into DeFi, you really get addicted because there's just so many layers. Basic staking, and then you got more advanced staking. But of course, there's more risk. But man, there's a lot to it. It's very exciting. But anyways, talking about Bitcoin, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? Argentina is allowing Strike app. Can they fully embrace it? Can other countries embrace it? Well, yes. We'll have to see. But tomorrow, CPI numbers, what is it going to do, right? We will see. We will see. But there's not a whole lot of things that you could buy to hedge against inflation these days. You can't buy bonds. It's not inflating as fast as USD. You can't buy gold because it's not inflating as fast as USD. But you can buy Bitcoin, which is definitely inflating faster than USD. So we will see what happens tomorrow. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.